The school was under-enrolled, low performing. Teacher morale was at an all-time low. At that time, it was one of the lowest performing elementary schools in our state. We developed the very first leadership program for elementary children based on the 7 habits of highly effective people. We started to teach the language to our students.
Without the 7 habits, I truly don't think I'd be where I am today.
I think when you are doing the right work, great things happen. Extraordinary things happen. I had just been assigned the principal of A.B. Combs Elementary. At that time, it was one of the lowest performing elementary schools in not only our district, but in our state. It was no longer attracting people to this school. I didn't realize just how needy the school was in terms of major transformation. I didn't really know what was I going to do to transform the school. Dr. Stephen Covey was speaking in Washington, D.C., only a few hours from Raleigh, and so I thought, well, I can drive there. I walk into this ballroom not expecting there to be over 3,000 people, most of whom were business leaders. And as I listened to him speak, I was so moved emotionally. And I kept thinking, wonder if you can teach these habits to students. I just mustered up enough courage to go up to him. And our conversation was nothing more than a soundbite. Do you think you can teach these habits to little children? And he said, how little? And I said, 5 to 10 years old. And he said, well, I don't know why not. And if you do anything with it, let me know. And so that was my motivation. That was my inspiration. And we came together right here in this media center, and we asked those stakeholder groups over the course of a week, if you could create your ideal school, what would it look like, sound like, and feel like? We developed the very first leadership program for elementary children based on the 7 habits of highly effective people. We started to teach the language to our students. We almost instantly started to see the culture of this school change, and we started to make those connections for ourselves as educators, but also for children. I think what we witnessed very early on was this huge paradigm shift, this common language that we were using, but we were also looking at our students very differently through the lens of every child can be a leader, and people were coming in to see what we were doing. Dr. Covey started writing about what we were doing. The idea that was born right here in this room is now in over 7,000 schools around the world, in over 50 countries. And so, who could have imagined that?
I am currently a law student at Campbell Law, and I was introduced to the 7 habits 17 years ago. My first memory about the 7 habits is just being at A.B. Combs, and I was taught the 7 habits, each and every one individually. It is practiced, it is preached by each and every teacher within the school due to just kind of the culture around there. I never had a moment where I thought I couldn't do something. I remember joking when I was like 5 years old. I was like, oh, I would be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. There was never an obstacle that I thought I couldn't go over. There wasn't a door that I didn't think could, if not anything, be opened by either me or somebody else. I never believed that there wasn't an opportunity to succeed in whatever format I wanted that to be. To be completely honest, I can't even think of a future without the 7 habits. I can't think of a past without the 7 habits. That's how much it's become part of my life. Without the 7 habits, I truly don't think I'd be where I am today.
When I reflect back on meeting Jason Thomas for the very first time, Jason thrived in this leadership environment, and he had different roles and responsibilities during his 6 years here. But when he left us, he continued to grow as a leader. He continued to live the 7 habits, and that's what the 7 habits has done for our students, is to give them the confidence and the tools to do the things that they're most passionate about. I know now, all these years later, that I was sitting in that big ballroom in Washington, D.C. for a reason. And I can't explain why me, but I'm so grateful. I had the opportunity to lead a staff of like-minded educators and parents who were so honest with us about what they really wanted for their children, and that we came together as a community here in Raleigh, North Carolina, to dream what we wanted for our children. And I thought, this is the 7 habits of fact.